Here I have these two heavy steelies, and if I move them around, they have kinetic energy. But if I slam them together, where does that energy go? I'll give you a hint. We're going to be testing it out by putting this piece of paper in between them as I slam them together. In this lesson, we're going to be talking about the transfer of energy and how you can keep track of it. I'm also going to be testing my bravery by sending a swinging bowling ball at my head. That's always a classic. So where does the energy go when you slam them together? Now first off, think about if they're moving around and I were to put my hand in between there and slam them together, that would cause some pain. So there's definitely energy here because energy is the ability to cause pain. But listen and see what you hear. Sound, right? There was sound energy. These things were vibrating a little bit when I struck them together, and that vibration was passed to the molecules around them, and they started vibrating, and they bumped into their neighbors and started vibrating, and it just spread out through the room like that. Eventually, that vibration reached someone's ear and made their eardrum vibrate the same way, which your then brain interprets that as a sound. So there's definitely sound energy involved. But let me show you what other kind of energy is involved here. So we're going to do a close-up of this, and I'm going to slam these together really quick. Isn't that cool? I love watching it in slow motion. Here's my favorite part. If you look closely, you can even see little bits of paper flying around. And when the dust settles, if you look at the holes, you can see brown edges, burn marks. And if I smell it, I can smell campfire. So there is definitely burning going on there. Some of the energy goes into heating up the paper so much that it actually causes it to burn. That sort of energy, heat energy and sound energy, I like to lump into one category that I call dissipated energy. To dissipate means to spread out and go away. The energy spreads out and becomes less useful. Like this speaker transferring energy to the molecules in the room around it, the energy is more spread out, more random, less useful. Or these two books sliding across each other. Frictions transferring energy is heat to the molecules in the books, and those molecules move faster, and so the temperature rises. But the energy is more spread out, not as organized, so less useful. So really, dissipated energy is a catch-all category for energy that we just don't get back. Next, I want to show you how we can keep track of energy. And you saw a hint of this when we saw the energy skate park simulation. Remember we had the skater who was in this half pipe and moving back and forth, and it showed like a little pie chart up above his head when he did that. We're going to draw the same kind of thing. We're going to use pie charts to keep track of where the energy is at each moment in time. So right here at the beginning, lifted up high, lots of potential energy due to gravity, hasn't started moving yet, so no kinetic. Halfway down, we've got a split between kinetic and potential due to gravity. At the bottom, we're saying it's all kinetic, and as it gets back almost to the top, it's mostly potential due to gravity with a little bit of kinetic in there. So you're really kind of becoming an energy accountant. You're keeping track of all the accounts that the energy is stored in at any one moment in time. Notice, however, that the pie is the same size each snapshot. That tells us that energy is conserved. We're not getting more energy or we're not getting less energy. It's the same amount of total energy at each snapshot. Now, if there is friction or sound or air resistance, I'm going to lump that in that dissipated energy column, in that category that I talked about. In the simulation that you used, they call it thermal energy, but I'm going to call it dissipated. So if there is some dissipated, then I'm going to have a little bit of a slice here of dissipated energy because I haven't moved a whole lot yet. Down here, the slice has gotten bigger. And up here, there's an even bigger slice of dissipated, maybe even bigger than that. Something kind of like that, because there's been more track, I've been on it longer, more of that energy has gone into sound and heat and those other places. Now I want to give you a quiz. If I have one of these poppers, which I've bent the rubber and set it down here. And so it's not moving at first, and then it pops up into the air, comes up here and stops. I want you to see if you can fill in what should these energy pie charts look like right now. So pause the video and fill those in. Okay, so hopefully you have your predictions. So the energy we have in the beginning is that bent rubber storing the energy. So that's like a rubber band, springy energy. So that's potential energy elastic. And it's all stored up there. PE elastic. Then this thing pops, and now it's moving up very quickly. And so it's mostly kinetic energy in this case. But there is a slice here of potential due to gravity because it is a little bit off the ground and it could fall back down. Third snapshot here, it's pretty high in the air. We'll say it's half and half or close to that. A lot of kinetic and a lot of potential due to gravity. Fourth snapshot, we're all the way in the air. It stopped moving because it's gone as high as it can, and it's all potential energy due to gravity. Now, if you thought that there was some dissipated in here, that's certainly legitimate. Maybe there is. I would guess that there's a lot of dissipated, maybe, no, not right there actually, wrong one, in the kinetic energy that takes out of the kinetic energy piece in snapshot 2. Because this thing pops, we hear a sound when it pops. I'm guessing that heats up some. There's probably some dissipated there. And if you think that there's air resistance, then that dissipated is going to get bigger and bigger at each snapshot. If you think that it kind of stays the same, air resistance doesn't affect it much, then you just have it stay the same size. I'm going to have it be a little bit bigger in each of these cases. But there's no exact right or wrong way to do this. You're really just becoming an energy accountant. You're keeping track of what accounts the energy is being stored in at each snapshot. And notice once again that the pie charts are staying the same size throughout the whole thing. Energy is not being lost anywhere. It's not being created or destroyed. It's the same amount, just transferring back and forth. And you might have noticed my terminology. I'm even saying the word stored for kinetic energy. I like to use kind of money as an analogy. With money can be stored in different types of places. In your bank account, you can transfer it with checks or debit cards or credit cards or cash or coin. It's not like it has to transform itself into different types of money. It's all just money. But it has to transfer or be transferred from one category or storage place to another. Not a lot of people talk about kinetic as being stored energy, but I like to refer to it as that. So this is one way to keep track of where energy is stored at any one time. Energy pie charts. So here I have a swinging bowling ball. And as I push this up higher, I'm transferring energy from me, which came from the food that I've eaten, into the bowling ball. I'm increasing its potential energy due to gravity. And then when I let it swing, that energy is transferring to kinetic energy. Energy of motion swings up, becomes potential, then kinetic again, and then comes back again and swings up here to potential. Now, we shouldn't be getting out more energy than we put in, so the bowling ball should come up to the same height. So I have students come up, put their nose right against this, and I'll show you what they usually do. Okay, pull it back, let go, and here we go. And almost always they'll jerk back like that. Did you catch the problem with how they stand? When you pull the ball back by yourself, usually you're kind of leaning back a little bit. Now I maybe exaggerated a bit so you could see, but you lean back a little bit and pull against the weight. Then when you let go of it, you straighten back up again, and now you're closer than you were before. Bowling ball almost hits you that way, and people jerk back. What's tough is I'm going to try it to hold it myself, even knowing this, and not lean forward or backward. Just stay in the same spot. I'm going to see if I can do it here. Okay, here we go. It's touching my nose. Can I do it? Oh, I chickened out a little bit right at the end, but it was close. Let's see if I can do a little bit better job, and this time I'm going to try to close my eyes. All right, I know it's coming, so I'm going to try to stand up straight and not lean I can do it here, touching my nose. Oh, oh let me try that again. I got to do better than that. Ah, I did it. So there you have it. My bravery, or lack thereof, versus a bowling ball is a great illustration of the conservation of energy.